3 years ago, I watched two guys I know have the exact same conversation at a barbecue, both complaining about their $55,000 salaries, both saying they wanted to start something on the side. Same age, same frustration, same Saturday afternoon with burgers getting cold. One of them spent the next 3 years researching, refining, waiting for the idea that was finally worth doing. The other one bought a $3,500 pressure washer and started knocking on doors the following weekend. Today, the first guy still makes $55,000 a year, still has the list of ideas on his phone, still waiting. The second guy billed $180,000 last year, cleaning driveways. And the difference between them has almost nothing to do with talent, connections, or money. It has everything to do with what kind of business they were willing to be seen running. There is a pattern here. A mechanic built into the financial system that almost nobody talks about because it is genuinely unglamorous. And that unglamorous part? That is actually the whole point. That is the protection. That is the moat. Stick with me. Because by the end of this, you are going to look at a dirty driveway completely differently. Let me tell you about the waiting guy first. Because honestly, I get him. His instincts are not wrong. They are just pointed at the wrong target. He wanted to build an app, then a subscription box, then a dropshipping store, then a content brand. Each idea bigger and shinier than the last. Each one never quite started. And you know what all those ideas have in common? Every single one of them sounds incredible at a dinner party. You say you're building an app and people lean in. You say you are pressure washing driveways on weekends and people nod politely and change the subject. That social signal is doing a lot of quiet damage to a lot of good decisions. The Bureau of Labor Statistics shows businesses in unglamorous service categories have a 78% 5-year survival rate. Tech startups? 10%. Read that again. 78 versus 10. Same 5 years, completely different odds. And this is not a coincidence. This is a feature of how boring businesses actually work. The boring keeps people out. The unglamorous is the barrier to entry. When you start a tech company, you are competing against every ambitious, well-funded, brilliant person who also thought the idea was cool. Because the idea was cool. When you start pressure washing driveways, you are competing against the guy who thought it was too boring to try. Which is almost everyone. Now here is where the pressure washing guy's story gets interesting. Because his first month, he made $200. Not glamorous, not a TED Talk. His neighbor saw him loading equipment and asked if he was starting a business. He said yes. The neighbor nodded very slowly, the way people do when they are trying to be supportive, but are also genuinely confused. It is a specific nod. You know the nod. That nod is the system protecting itself, keeping the field clear. Every person who gives that nod is one less competitor. By month 4, he was making $4,500 a month, still a side business, still fitting it around his regular job. But the math was starting to do something interesting. He was charging $150 per driveway. An average job took him 45 minutes. That is $200 an hour. His day job paid him $26 an hour. And the waiting guy, at that exact same moment, was on month 4 of researching which Shopify theme looked most professional. But there is a reason the pressure washing guy charges $150 per driveway when the car wash down the street charges $15 for a full detail. And it is not because he is working harder. It is something much simpler and a little counterintuitive. The car wash charges $15 because it positioned itself as a commodity. Fungible. Replaceable. You drive through, it rains, you forget about it. The pressure washer guy shows up at your house, transforms your specific driveway, and you feel it every time you pull into your own home. That is not a commodity. That is a result. Results charge differently. Actually, if this is the kind of thing that makes you look at ordinary businesses differently, you probably want to stick around. I break down these mechanics every week. Subscribe button is right there. I will be here when you get back. So we have got two guys. Same starting line, same $55,000, same complaints about their salaries. And the gap between them is now growing every single month. But I want to show you something about the waiting guy that is not obvious, because it is easy to dismiss him as lazy. He is not lazy. He is spending money, actively. He has 3 streaming subscriptions. That runs about $847 a year. He eats out regularly. Average American household spends $3,458 a year on dining out. Between the two, streaming and dining out, that is $4,305 a year. which is almost exactly $805 more than the $3,500 pressure washer that changed everything. The startup capital was never missing. It was just pointed at things that felt easier to say yes to. Not wrong things, just not the thing. And this is where the system really shows its hand. Because consuming is comfortable, starting is uncomfortable. And the system is very good at making consuming feel like it deserves your money first. Let me show you what the waiting guy spent his money on over those same 3 years. Because this is where it gets uncomfortable. Not just the streaming and dining out, the courses, 3 of them. On businesses he never started. 1 course on dropshipping, 1 on Amazon FBA, 1 on content creation. All reasonable bets, all sitting unwatched past Module 3. And I want to be clear, none of those are bad businesses. Some people absolutely crush it with all 3. But for the waiting guy, they served a different purpose. They let him feel like he was doing something without doing the thing. The pressure washing guy bought 0 courses. His education was the first driveway that took him 2 hours and paid him $150. His second took 90 minutes. His 10th took 45. The learning happened in the work. Now, I am not here to make the waiting guy feel bad. I am here to name what happened to him. Because once you can name it, you can see it coming. What happened to him has a name. I call it the dinner party test. And it explains almost everything about why some businesses get started and others stay on the list forever. Here is the dinner party test. Simple concept. You are at a dinner, someone asks what you do on the side. You answer. Watch the room's reaction. That reaction is running your business decisions whether you know it or not. You say you are building an app. People get interested, start asking questions, want to be part of the story. That dopamine hit is real. And it is doing real damage because the feedback loop of approval replaces the feedback loop of revenue. You say you clean driveways on Saturdays and people smile. Pivot. Ask someone else how their vacation was. No dopamine, no story. Just the sound of a pressure washer making $150 every 45 minutes. The dinner party test is not about what other people think. It is about what their reaction does to your own willingness to keep going. Social validation is a drug, and unglamorous businesses do not provide it. Remember that $55,000 salary they both started with? Here is the math on what the waiting guy could have built if he had just bought the pressure washer instead of the streaming subscriptions. Year 1, $54,000 in potential side billing. Year 2, with 2 helpers, pushing $120,000. Year 3, the actual number, $180,000. 3 years of dinner party discomfort for triple the income. Now let me go deeper on why boring businesses actually survive. Because the 78% survival rate is not luck, it is mechanics. 3 specific ones. First, boring businesses solve problems that never go away. Driveways get dirty again, gutters fill up again, lawns grow back. There is no version of the future where your market disappears because an algorithm changed. You cannot disrupt pressure washing with AI. I know someone is working on it. There is a pitch deck somewhere. But for now, dirt still requires water and someone willing to show up. And that is genuinely a beautiful thing. Second, boring businesses have low competition density. When something is cool, capital floods in. Venture money, ambitious people, influencer brands. The cool tax is real and it kills margins. Boring keeps the field clear. Third, boring businesses have lower failure modes. If your app fails, you have usually burned months of time and sometimes serious money. If your pressure washing business has a slow week, you wash fewer driveways, the floor is higher. And the pressure washing example is just one version of this. This pattern shows up in window cleaning, pool maintenance, mobile notary work, junk removal, dog waste removal, which is extremely unglamorous and extremely profitable. The businesses nobody talks about at barbecues are often the ones quietly paying mortgages. The pattern is almost boringly consistent, which, come to think of it, tracks. Now I want to zoom in on the actual money mechanics because this is where a lot of people miss the real unlock. The pressure washing guy does not think about his time. He thinks about his jobs. That distinction is everything. His day job pays him for hours, $26 an hour. Clock in, clock out, get paid for the time. That is employee math. The pressure washer charges $150 per job. The job takes 45 minutes. He is not selling time. He is selling the outcome. In 60 seconds, I am going to show you the one question that separates people who talk about starting something from people who actually do it. But first, the full math on what makes the boring business advantage work at scale, not just as a side hustle. Year 1. Our guy works weekends, maybe 12 driveways a week, $150 each. That is $1,800 a week, $93,600 annualized. He does not hit that full number, but he hits $54,000 on top of his salary in year 1 alone. Year 2, he hires one part-time helper, pays them fair, doubles output without doubling his personal hours. The business is now a business, not just a hustle. Year 3, $180,000 build. He keeps a solid margin, pays his helper, covers equipment and supplies. His take-home is comfortably above that original $55,000 salary, and the gap is still widening. The boring business did not just replace the salary. It is becoming an asset, something with value independent of whether he personally shows up every day. That is not something a salary ever becomes. And the waiting guy? Still at $55,000, still researching, still waiting for the idea that will be worth explaining at dinner. I am not judging him. I genuinely am not. The pull of wanting to build something impressive is completely human. The system creates that pull on purpose. Shiny things get investment. Shiny things get attention. Shiny things do not often make it past year 2. But unglamorous things, things that solve permanent problems, things nobody else wants to be seen doing, those things quietly compound. Month after month, customer after customer, driveway after driveway, the dinner party test is running in the background of every business decision you make. And now you can see it. That is already an advantage most people do not have. But seeing the problem is not the same as solving it. So let me give you the actual framework, the thing I have been holding back since scene 1. Before this video ends, I want you to write down one skill or tool you already own that someone would pay you for this weekend. Not next month. Not after you take a course. This weekend. That is the challenge. And it starts with understanding the full mental shift. Here is the complete framework. And it starts with 2 types of math that most people never realize they are choosing between: employee math and owner math. Employee math says your time is worth $25 an hour. So you look at a 45-minute driveway job and think, that is barely worth $18 of my time. The math feels small. The effort feels not worth it. By the way, if the employee math versus owner math thing is clicking for you right now, there is a whole library of this stuff on the channel. Hitting subscribe means you will actually see it when I post it instead of finding it 6 months later. Worth the 2 seconds. Owner math says the job pays $150. The job takes 45 minutes. Your effective rate is $200 an hour. Same pressure washer, same driveway, completely different number, because you changed what you were measuring. Employee math trades time for money. Owner math trades outcomes for money. The difference is not just semantic. It changes every decision: how you price, how you pitch, how you grow. So here is how you apply this starting today. Step 1. Run your own dinner party test. List 3 business ideas you have had. Ask honestly, did you like these ideas because they were viable or because they sounded good? Be ruthless. Step 2. Look for the permanent problem. What problem exists in your neighborhood, your building, your block, that will still exist in 10 years? Dirty things? Broken things? Time-consuming things? Uncomfortable things? That list is a business list. Step 3. Price the outcome, not the hour. Before you quote your first customer, decide what the result is worth to them, not how long it will take you. The customer does not care how long it takes. They care that the driveway is clean. Step 4. Start ugly. Your first job will not be your best. The equipment will feel awkward. The pricing will feel weird. The neighbor will give you the nod. Do the job anyway. The nod does not cash checks. Now, will everyone who buys a pressure washer make $180,000? No. Some will make $40,000 on the side. Some will realize they hate it and sell the equipment. Both outcomes are real information. Both beat 3 more years of researching. The $3,500 pressure washer is not the point. The point is that $3,500 bought 3 years of compounding market experience that no course, no research, no idea board could replicate. Remember those 2 guys at the barbecue? Same $55,000. Same frustration. Same burgers. 3 years later, one has a business billing $180,000. The other has a much better researched list of businesses he has not started yet. The businesses that actually survive are not the ones that sound impressive at dinner parties. They are the ones that solve problems that never go away, stay boring enough to keep competition out, and can start with what you already have this month. The question is not what business idea is worth starting. The question is, what boring, useful, unglamorous thing can you start doing this weekend that your neighbor would give you that polite, confused nod for? Find that thing. Buy the $3,500 version of it. Go get the nod. The nod means the field is clear, and clear fields are where the real money grows.